Welcome to LUTV News InFocus, where we feature interesting topics on campus, in the community, and in the world of culture. I'm Jonathan Tippett. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed life, the world, and higher education. Lamar University President Dr. Kenneth Evans is here to talk about how the institution is adjusting to this change and to share any vital information to the students, faculty, and staff. President Evans, thank you for being here right now.
Oh, you're welcome, Jonathan.
So, first thing that I would like to kind of get going is, what are the current predictions for how graduations will be handled this semester? Because that's a pretty big event, and obviously there's a lot of people involved. So is that just strictly off the books? Is it going to be delayed? What's up with graduation?
Yes, it is. Obviously commencement is a great celebration. It's a time where everybody in the room is happy.
Right.
And it's great to have family and students all together celebrating a culmination of a part of their journey. For some of them, they'll go on for graduate studies. The reality is that it doesn't make sense in light of what's happening right now to try to do May commencement. So at the moment, we are delaying. So those that would have graduated in May are certainly welcome to join us in August, if we have commencement in August. If not, then obviously we'll push it back to December. It's unfortunate, but we have to do that to protect the community.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's such a big event. I mean, I had a commencement ceremony through Lamar University myself, so I know how many people show up. And
there you go. Yeah.
Can't have that many people packed in to one location.
Yeah.
Next, I had a question from a student. I asked a few of the LUTV reporters and some students that I know if they had any questions that they would like me to ask you. And there has been discussion going around about moving to, for the semester, a pass-fail system. Is that right?
There has been discussion about that.
So let me give you a quote from this student. The 4.0 or 0 or pass-fail concerns me because it may be an inflation of GPA. Despite not putting in the same work, others could obtain the same outcome. Some kind of curve seems like a more reasonable option because it's still somewhat representative of the effort that was applied throughout the school year and still grants people some relief from the stress of school and this virus. Will whatever decision be applied throughout the entire student body? I would change that a little bit to ask, what direction are we leaning in right now? And do you have anything that you would say to address that kind of concern from students?
Obviously, we've been working on it. It came up quite a while ago. We'll probably get a formal announcement out on that at the beginning of next week. But we'll continue with the same grading schema, A, B, C, D, and F. And for students that feel that the coronavirus and the results of them taking their curriculum online put them in undue stress and affected the outcome of their educational experience, they may grieve that and apply it to the faculty. And we've made a special request to the faculty to be accommodating to those students and make adjustments where necessary, and potentially use a pass-fail option in those cases. The reality is, though, Jonathan, you probably know this, but if you use pass-fail and a student's applying for a graduate program, that class would not potentially count for graduate admission. Furthermore, if a student is applying for an honors program or for a scholarship program and trying to remain academically qualified for a scholarship or the honors program, and they take a class pass-fail, that grade point doesn't count toward whatever that criteria is they're trying to be held accountable for. So it has a lot of moral hazards associated with it. So the best option would be to continue with the grading schema and then give students the option at the end in the event that they need to grieve it.
Makes perfect sense to me. And a lot of the stuff going on right now is obviously, maybe not obviously to some, but there's certain concessions that just have to be made right now. You have to make these decisions.
Yeah, you have to be agile in this environment. You're absolutely right.
Is there any particular, you've made formal announcements, but is there any particular message that you would like to just give to faculty staff right now?
Well, obviously, first and foremost, my sympathies to individuals that have been affected by this, the healthcare industry that's working around the clock to help those that have been affected. Our whole community, of course, reaches out to all those that have been impacted by this. Furthermore, what's interesting about Lamar, and this, is that this is an institution that has gone through many crises over the course of time. Hurricanes and goodness knows what they call straight line wind events, but we could argue it was something different than that, and a variety of other crises. And we've always weathered it and come out the other side. And we will come out the other side of this. We will prevail, but it's going to be a difficult journey.
I would even put the TPC plant explosion.
Oh, absolutely. It's right in there. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the same note, is there a message that you would like to give to students right now?
Continue to stay diligent in your classes. I know this is a very difficult transition for many of you who have never taken a class online, but there are an immense number of resources available on campus through STARS and tutorials and through the Writing Intensive Center and a variety of other resources. Turn to them. They're there for you. Use them.
That's a good point. I would like to touch on online a little bit. So there's a lot of benefits to online, particularly as we're seeing right now, the ability to get to people who otherwise have no access to campus resources, the ability to still offer on-campus kind of STARS tutoring in an online environment in the home. A lot of students, however, express the idea that they don't enjoy online classes, that they kind of struggle to keep up with that. Do you think that online is a long-term solution to any of these problems, or is this strictly a stopgap for our current situation with this pandemic?
Yes. It's a bit of both, actually. I mean, the reality is that we're going to come out of this pandemic with a pretty high unemployment rate.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a lot of adults who are going to be recalibrating as they've got to find a new preparation to be able to enter what might be an alternative workforce. That's going to require them to seek additional education, certification, or degree completion if they haven't finished. For them, they're going to need to be educated in place. They're not going to be able to become a resident in an institution and take face-to-face classes. So there will be an answer for many of them that otherwise wasn't there before in their mind. For the residential student, there's a real value in a residential experience. For the 18 to 21, 22-year-old often, this is a great opportunity to have broader exposures to student organizations and kind of learn leadership skills and communication skills and a variety of things that oftentimes don't come from an online experience per se. So there's space for both types of modalities.
Lastly, you had released to faculty and staff, obviously. There's a list of exempt, the essential you need to be on campus,
right?
Faculty and staff and what they're doing, things like that. On that list, you have athletics, you've got various like administrative offices, most of which that I've never even dealt with, not that sort of thing. What kind of activities are still ongoing on campus? Like what are these departments still up to at this current time for people who aren't there?
Go ahead. We still have receiving through purchasing, so we're dealing with a lot of goods coming into the institution and obviously dealing with those transactions. We've got the facilities themselves that we have to manage, and we have to watch all of our buildings because obviously infrastructure can break or not in the course of the time that we're closing some of these buildings down. All of the technology support, like what you're using right now, somebody's got to make sure that continues to operate. So that team needs to be in place to be able to help facilitate that. We're still offering some labs in some places for students who don't have computer access to give them an opportunity to be able to secure internet access for their online education. So it's those essential services that we're continuing to operate to facilitate both the educational experience as well as to be able to secure the facilities.
I just wanted to kind of highlight that because people leave that out a lot. People leave out the minutia. They don't think about infrastructure. They don't think about like the technology aspect. They're just thinking education because it's first and foremost a university.
Well, we wouldn't be having this interview if it wasn't for our
Right.
technology people.
Absolutely.
They're absolutely essential, and they've been doing categorically yeoman's work on campus. They deserve a great applause by all of our campus community.
So just to wrap things up, is there anything else that you would like to just say, a personal note or anything of you think that we missed?
Well, I am absolutely incredibly thankful to the entire community of Lamar for the great work they've done in this transition, the support they've given the students and each other. We are Lamar, and we'll come out the other side of this.
Well, thank you, President Dr. Is it Dr. President? President Dr. Kenneth Evans.
Just one of those would be good.
As long as you get the title in there somewhere.
That's all right. We're good.
So thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching LUTV News in Focus. To see more content from LUTV News, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. See you next time.